Good evening and welcome to the 6th annual Arlington Cares celebration. My name is Lisa Fikes and I'm honored to serve as the President and CEO of the Leadership Center for Excellence. Our mission at the Leadership Center is to connect, develop, and inspire leaders for personal growth, civic engagement, and community impact. Volunteer Arlington is one of the programs at the Leadership Center in a public-private partnership between the Leadership Center and Arlington County. We are so grateful for that partnership and for the work we're able to do together. You know, civic engagement can mean a variety of different things. Every individual has their unique passions, gifts, and talents. For a second, I'd like for us to use the Points of Light Civic Engagement Circle as our guide. So I want you to imagine yourself. Imagine yourself, the cause that you care about in the center of that circle. What's a cause that you care about? What's something, it might be hunger for some, it might be homelessness for others, but imagine that cause that you care deeply about. There are a variety of ways to be engaged in that cause. Many times it can start by listening and learning, taking the time to listen and learn about why that cause exists. Why is there systemic educational disparities? Why are there health disparities? Imagine why those challenges are there and take the time to listen and to learn as to why that cause exists and how you can be a part of it. Then, as you continue to think about your civic engagement, how might you be involved in other ways? For some, it might be donating, either in kind or with their time or with their dollars. For others, it might be using your voice and advocating for a cause that you care about. For others, it might be volunteering their time. For others, it might be taking the time to vote for leaders that care about that cause. But as we continue to learn tonight and hear from people who have thrown their passions into being engaged in this variety of ways, I encourage us all to take the time to reimagine and think about what cause we care for and how we want to be a part in moving in that cause moving forward. The folks that we're celebrating here tonight have done just this. They've found their passions, they've identified their gifts, and they've put them into action. So let's get started with honoring our Community Service Award winners tonight. Presenting our first award, the Volunteer Arlington Award, is Will Flagler, who serves as the Acting Director for the Arlington County Public Safety Communications and Emergency Management. Will, thanks for being with us here tonight.
Thank you, Lisa. The Volunteer Arlington Award recognizes a volunteer, paid or unpaid, who has done exceptional work with volunteer engagement. Leslie Garrison, the CERT coordinator for the Arlington CERT, volunteered over 1,500 hours in the past 2 years alone. Les leads one of the largest, most active community CERT operations in the country. He serves as chief CERT trainer and has translated his U.S. Marine Corps training into training the CERT volunteer recruits within Arlington County for emergency response activities. He's negotiated with my department. He's developed CERT training, developed emergency plans, supported COVID-19 testing, ensured vaccine clinics will run smoothly, and provided the Arlington community with the necessary COVID-19 kits. His leadership on the food distribution initiative logged more than 1,400 hours early in the COVID-19 response, assisting our county's vulnerable homeless community with the assurance and safety they required. Additionally, Les is responsible for Arlington CERT emergency preparation for those with disability access needs, training manager for Until Help Arrives, disaster medical operations, psychological first aid assistance with functional support needs during an Arlington CERT event, fire safety and utility control, search and rescue operations, traffic control, and ham radio operations and monthly radio checks. His leadership and partnership on these critical programs was exemplary and provides our community the necessary assistance required. Arlington County is fortunate to have a leader like Les within Arlington CERT community.
I guess I'm on. Thanks, Will. I very much appreciate the kind words, and thank you all for this honor. Before I go any farther, I do have to thank my wife, Ann, who set such a good example for me in so many ways. I have to make clear that this award belongs to all of the Arlington CERT teammates, folks who have continued to serve in all the capacities that they have before and during the pandemic. Over 120 CERT teammates have directly supported the anti-COVID effort, testing sites, vaccination sites, distribution sites, leading and organizing teams. It's a real team effort. Many of our teammates could not go on site, but they've continued to support other ongoing efforts for Arlington County. I need to acknowledge, as always, some of the names. Unfortunately, I can get to very few. First, Sue McLean, who serves in so many functions, I simply cannot name them all. Shasta, who has continued on so many fronts to advance knowledge of the CERT. Frank Mirak, the champion of our deployments. Bridget Smith, who is constantly updating our records. Dave, Deborah, and Eric, who are working our activations. Catherine Sprouse in the Until Help Arrives category, who have continued to assist emergency management and the fire department in teaching those critical stop the bleed skills that could be so critical in these days. There are too many names for me to go on, but there's so many on the team that deserve the appreciation. CERTs never work alone, even when there's only one of us on site. That one represents all of us. Enormous amount of time invested by all of my teammates. So again, this is not about me. This is about a great team. I'd like to end, as I have on some occasions in the past, with one of the unofficial mottos of the CERT is, "Here am I, send me." Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, Les. I love that motto. I don't know that I'd heard that. Here I am, send me. What a wonderful example, and so illustrative of the work that you do and the work that CERT does on a daily basis. Congratulations. We all know that there is value to one single act of volunteerism or of civic engagement. Now I want you to just magnify that for a minute. When a volunteer such as Les identifies their passion and commits to giving freely of their time, their skills, and their heart, and they do so for a prolonged period of time, the impact can be exponential. The following individuals or groups have given more than 100 hours to their particular organizations. Let's take a moment to thank them for their service. Thank you to each and every one of you. Together, this group of 460 volunteers has volunteered with 13 organizations and offered well more than 48,000 hours of volunteer service. And those are the only partner organizations who turned in names. So let's just put some perspective on that. Using the Bureau of Labor Statistics average salary figure, these particular volunteers saved Volunteer Arlington partner organizations more than $1 million. So in your own rooms, whether it's in your office or in your home, let's give them all a round of applause. And thank you so much for not just having one single act of civic engagement, but really finding that cause, that passion, and having prolonged service throughout the past year. Thank you so much. Our next award is a newly created one for Arlington Cares. It's the Racial Equity Civic Engagement Award. My colleague, Samia Bird, Deputy County Manager and Chief Race and Equity Officer for Arlington County Government, had hoped to be here tonight to present it, but is in another commitment that's running over time. So it's my privilege and honor to pitch in, and I'm incredibly pleased to do so. And that I'm so proud that our Volunteer Arlington Advisory Council, many of whom are here with us tonight, decided to add this particular award to those that we give out each year. The Racial Equity Civic Engagement Award is given to an individual or to a group who has shown a substantive commitment to racial equity. The award recognizes those who build on representation and fully integrate diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging throughout their work. The first recipient of this award is Julius D. Spain Sr., also known as JD. JD is a tireless advocate for racial equity. A member of the NAACP since 1989, most recently he has served as the president of the Arlington branch. His leadership and keen insight has propelled the NAACP Arlington branch to a 300% membership increase, laser-focused engagement, and many, many successes in a broad range of issues. JD has and continues to advocate for transparency, accountability, and policy changes within the Arlington County government in the areas of criminal justice, economic development, environmental and climate justice, education, housing, and health. The NAACP Arlington branch, throughout President Spain's leadership, conducted the following voting rights and representation for advocacy. They wrote and sent 1,000 voter registration postcards to Arlington residents at risk of being removed from voter rolls, held 30 voter registration events, registered 33 voters via paper applications, and distributed hundreds of voter outreach flyers. They knocked on over 1,600 doors in the historically Black neighborhood and 8 affordable housing complexes to help get out the vote and promote civic engagement. They conducted Souls to the Polls campaign to mobilize voters to vote last fall. They met with county board members and advocated for county legislative priorities such as criminal history tenant screening, legislative authority for the county to hire independent auditor for community oversight board, and supporting legislation for youth mental health and distant learning. Fellow NAACP member Carolyn Kane commented, "For JD, it's literally a full-time plus volunteer commitment to the cause and to the community. Through his keen intelligence, humor, and authenticity, JD is helping the hearts and minds of those who are just learning or confronting systemic racism and inequities in our community and society. Thank you for your service, JD, and congratulations on receiving Volunteer Arlington's first Racial Equity Civic Engagement Award."
Wow. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Hey, you're on, baby. You're good.
I'm good. Well, thank you. It is such an honor to be with everybody here this evening. There's a bit of an echo, but I'm truly honored and grateful to receive such an influential recognition. This inaugural Racial Equity Civic Engagement Award. So it means a lot. But those of you that know me, right, exploring, analyzing different experiences and outcomes based on race and other social categories is at the center of everything that I do now. I'm also grateful that I have some of my colleagues from work here. But I will say this volunteerism award could have been given to any nominee who was capable, if not more so, of winning. And I'm just honored. But being recognized is one of the best feelings in the world because it makes you, know that your work is not in vain. But I will be remiss in this moment if I did not take an opportunity to, one, thank the executive leadership team of Arlington Branch NAACP, my esteemed colleagues again at my place of employment, LMI, the best GovCon company in Northern Virginia. Some of them are on this call today. The citizens of Arlington County, and my lovely family and wife of nearly 30 years who have allowed me the time and flexibility to serve in such a diverse and inclusive community. I can go all day, many of you that know me, but I want to leave you with one thought. We are still working to become one nation. We are still working to become indivisible. And we are still working for liberty and justice for all. So I'll leave you with this question. What are you doing to stay on the battlefield for social justice and equity for everyone and not surrender? Thank you and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
JD. Thank you so much, JD, and congratulations. Thank you so much for your leadership. We appreciate you on so many levels, and it's so exciting to celebrate here tonight.
Thank you, President.
Absolutely. Thanks a ton, JD. Appreciate it.
All right.
It's now my privilege to introduce Meleda Weaver, our Human Resources Specialist for Arlington County Parks and Recs, who's going to present the Group Service Award. Meleda, thanks for being with us tonight. Meleda, we can't hear you, so hold on just 1 second. We're going to double check your tech and make sure that we can hear you. We want to hear your words. Our apologies to Meleda. Sometimes the virtual world could go crazy, and with thunderstorms, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to present our Group Service Award. John and Adrian Scribner. Sorry, hold on just a second. We're going to backtrack for just a second. John and Adrian Scribner have made an exceptional impact to the community through their work with Troop 106. In addition to performing hundreds of hours of service in support of our community, the Scribners embody the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Not only do the Scribners live out the Scout Law daily, but they've also taught the Scouts of Troop 106 to do the same. Middle and high school can be scary. It's where young people are transitioning from youth to adults and learning to be independent. The impact of the volunteer time from the Scribners is exponential, as they've played a role in both troop and individual Eagle Scout projects for the last 5 years. For the troop, the Scribners have led, orchestrated, and participated in hundreds of community service volunteer projects over the last 5 years. Just a few of the troop-wide community service activities include the AFAC annual canned food drive, food sorting, and back-to-school food collection, Donaldson Run trail cleanups, National Park Service invasive vine removal, food gleaning benefiting local food banks, and restoration projects at camps. Additionally, under the Scribners' leadership, multiple Scouts have led their own Eagle Scout project, which has had a tremendously positive impact on the Arlington community. Eagle Scout projects in the last few years have included rebuilding a reflecting garden at Nottingham Elementary, helping to minimize soil erosion in parks, assistance planting and harvesting at a farm which donates produce to AFAC, rebuilding shelving for the Yorktown High School crew storage area, providing cat shelters for Animal Welfare League of Arlington, creating a food pantry near Central Library, and much more. So please join me in welcoming to the stage John and Adrian Scribner to accept their award.
Hi there. Hi, Lisa. Thank you I'm John. This is Adrian. Thank you for the very kind comments, and to Volunteer Arlington for the recognition. We actually represent a a number of other parents in the Arlington area who sort of operate under the radar, I might say, in terms of their tremendous commitment to scouting. So it may come as a surprise to some that it kind of did to us when our kids were much younger and we first started looking into this, how thriving and successful the Boy Scout troops are in Arlington, Virginia. Again, sort of operate under the radar relative to what's known to a lot of people. But scouting, it's now called Scouts BSA. They don't even call it Boy Scouts anymore. We have two sons who are Scouts, and our daughter is also a Boy Scout, as girls are now part of the Boy Scout organization too, which is wonderful. So we have many people to thank. The scouting movement, again, is very successful in Arlington. Why is that, and why is that important? Why do we do it? It's really for two main reasons. Scouts gets our kids outdoors and it gets them away from electronics. I'm being a little flip, but actually that's an enormously important part of it. Secondly, and a bit more seriously, the ultimate objective of scouting is about what's called doing a good turn daily. And that is a concept that we repeatedly, not only we try to live every day, which is very difficult to do, but we also try to impart to our scouts. What does it mean to do a good turn daily? It means that you're doing something for someone else that's helpful to someone else and expecting nothing in return. That's a hard concept for a lot of people around here. It's a hard concept for humans everywhere, I suppose. And so the more that we can try to instill that into the youth of our area, the better off we all are. And we are, again, very grateful for this award. We represent a host of other parents who are deeply involved, commit many hours to the scouting program. Fortunately, they do that to the benefit of the kids of Arlington. With that, to my much better half over here.
I just want to thank you for recognizing us and for those who in our scout troop nominated us. It takes a village, and it definitely scouting is. It takes all of us to make the magic of the troop happen. So thank you.
Thank you all.
John, Adrian, thanks so much, and congratulations on your work, and thank you for your service. As the mom of a scout myself, I know the behind the scenes work that our scout troop leaders are doing on a daily basis, and I'm so grateful as a parent, and I'm so grateful that it teaches and models to our young people how they can be as they get older, and it really does plant those seeds. So thank you so much for your service, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We now introduce to the stage Maimuna Duckenfield, the Division Director, Arlington County Aging and Disability Services, who is going to present the RSVP Award. Maimuna, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see everyone through this virtual platform. Yes, we are still virtual, but we can remain connected through all of the wonderful works of our volunteers and organizations. I am here to present the RSVP Award, which represents the efforts of RSVP Northern Virginia. RSVP is the Retired Service Volunteer Program, is America's largest volunteer network for people over the age of 55. It's a program of the Corporation for National and Community Service, and we are very fortunate in Northern Virginia to have our own RSV program that is housed in Fairfax County, but serves Arlington and Alexandria. This award is given to an individual who's 55 and over and has used their skills and expertise and interests to make a valuable, lasting impact in our community. The recipient of Volunteer Arlington's 2022 RSV Service Award is Patricia Hupalo. My apologies if I've mispronounced. Patricia Hupalo has served as a trusted go-to volunteer at Rebuilding Together Arlington Fairfax Falls Church for over 10 years. I'm sure we have connected with you, Patricia, over the years. In her career, Pat was Assistant Dean of Student Records at George Mason University School of Law and managed a great deal of data while handling student records. When she retired, she wanted to give back to the community and realized there's a great need in nonprofit work for her skill set. It's not glamorous, Pat says, but it's essential to keep good records. It's not something everyone thinks about, all the paperwork and tedious office work, but it makes all the other mission work possible. Thanks to Pat's help, Rebuilding Together has been able to upgrade their data system to Salesforce and build their capacity to effectively track and communicate to all key supporters and volunteers. And fortunately for her and Rebuilding Together, Pat also has the skills for the more glamorous side of the work. Her father was a carpenter who encouraged her and her brother to play around in his workshop. So he has always felt comfortable around tools. She has always felt comfortable around tools and interested in learning more. She's been described as an excellent painter, but Pat has really become known as the grab bar guru. We all need a grab bar guru in our community, as she has installed so many and seen just about every possible obstacle. Fellow volunteer Mary McDaniel commented about Pat's commitment, saying, "The thing about Pat, and I realized it right away, is she brings heart to every project. She's always looking for ways to not just do the task, but how best to help the clients. She keeps her ears open for clues on what else can be done. One example is a home where Pat built a new wheelchair ramp. While working, the homeowner mentioned their cluttered basement and how he could not access the breaker box or other important things. Pat asked to see, but he was embarrassed by the clutter. She gently assured him that they are not judging. He's been busy as a caretaker for his wife for years and unable to tend to the house, and he now has many helping hands that could help him tackle the problem. In the process of clearing space, they found many family pictures and treasures and took the time to sort items between trash and donations. He was overjoyed and relieved that that's what Pat loves most about serving, to see the weight coming off of people's shoulders. She loves to show people there is goodness in the world. Please join me in welcoming Patricia Hupalo. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you. Your kind words are overwhelming. I never imagined that I'd be receiving an award for doing something that I enjoy so much. And I'm honored to be included with the outstanding Arlington citizens that you're recognizing today. When I started volunteering with Rebuilding Together 10 plus years ago, I found an organization that was a good fit for me during both my work years and after retirement. At Rebuilding Together, I found a place where I could contribute to my home community, learn many new skills, and meet so many interesting people, the staff, the other volunteers, and the homeowners. Some jobs that we take on are easy fixes, others not so much. Either way, we work as a collaborative and positive team on each project and get to see the fruits of our labors in the happy and relieved faces of our homeowners. Building a ramp so a person can safely access their home, installing grab bars for safe bathing use, improving interior lighting, and removing tripping hazards are just a few examples of the type of work that we do that can and do make a huge difference in the quality of life. Arlington Cares is an apt name for this organization that's sponsoring this event. By highlighting so many vital organizations that provide services in our community, it is obvious that opportunities abound for individual involvement if anyone is seeking to be of service. By listening to the volunteers today and taking a closer look into their missions, someone may find that one is a good fit for the time and skills that they have to offer and decide to join their efforts. I thank you again. This has been truly an honor.
Thank you, Pat. And the community wraps its arms around you and the work of rebuilding together. Next, I would like to introduce my colleague, Tara Palacios, Director of Biz Launch with Arlington County Economic Development, to present the Distinguished Corporate Service Award. Tara?
Thank you so much. And good evening to everyone. I am so honored to be here with you all today. I'm just inspired by the work of Pat and all the others that have come before her, and just really honored to be here and to celebrate the wonderful volunteerism that makes our community such a wonderful place to live and to work. With that, it is my extreme honor to present the Distinguished Corporate Service Award. And it is given to a private Arlington business or an employee volunteer group thereof that through volunteerism has shown outstanding commitment and care to the citizens of Arlington. The recipient of Volunteer Arlington's Distinguished Corporate Service Award goes to, drumroll please, Avalon Bay Communities, Inc., for their work with APA. Avalon Bay was nominated for their engagement with APA, but it is worth noting that they also partner with the American Red Cross, Doorways, the Arlington Free Clinic, Shelters to Shutters, DASH, A Wider Circle, as well as many, many other distinguishable nonprofits in our community. APA noted that Avalon Bay is consistently providing time, donations, and money that directly and immediately improve the lives of those in our county. Both Avalon Bay staff and Avalon Bay residents care about sharing themselves with their neighboring APA communities. As we know, civic engagement comes in a variety of forms. It starts with listening and learning. Avalon Bay did just this. And after hearing some of their neighbors' needs, they organized numerous drives, gathering specific items that would make a difference in supporting APA residents. Holiday gift drive, sports club drives, kitchen essentials drive, board games for community rooms drive, emergency senior kit drive. So you know that there is a lot of driving going on. We are going places. Their civic engagement started with listening and learning to the needs that were there. Then Avalon Bay tapped into donating, another one of the civic circles which can make a difference. Additionally, Avalon Bay chose to volunteer their time, yet another one of the ways individuals or groups can illustrate their commitment to a cause they care about serving. During the Thanksgiving holiday, Avalon Bay served over 100 APA residents by unloading and loading AFAC trucks, helping residents carry groceries and turkeys to their homes. I am pleased to celebrate the multifaceted civic engagement of Avalon Bay here this evening. Accepting the award on behalf of Avalon Bay is Matthew Byronbaum.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Tara. I really appreciate your enthusiasm, and we really appreciate the recognition and really all of the volunteer efforts, both within our own team and a lot of our other corporate partners in Arlington. You know, one of the great things about Arlington and this community is that it is a very civic-minded place, and I think the private sector, public sector, you know, Arlington residents, it's just one of those things that makes Arlington special is that people come together to contribute to their community. I've personally been a resident. My family have lived here in Arlington for over 20 years. Avalon Bay, we're a pretty large apartment, publicly traded public apartment company, but we're headquartered here in Arlington. So we consider Arlington home. A lot of our associates are based here. We have a lot of properties here as well. So for us, it was just natural to form a long-term partnership with APA, who's really in the same business as we are, just serving folks at a lower level of the income spectrum who can't afford market rate housing, which, as we all know, is incredibly expensive in a community like Arlington. So we've been working together with APA for years, and it's really been incredibly rewarding for us, for our team, to be able to apply our professional skills as people in the housing business to APA to further their mission for the better of Arlington, Northern Virginia, and really the entire DMV area as APA is expanding outside of just Arlington, although Arlington is home for APA as well. So everything from being an extra pair of hands, all the things you outlined about the various drives, and a lot of professional things as well. Our construction team has engaged with APA on technical questions related to real estate and development, and of course, a lot of our associates volunteer at various events at APA communities. So we appreciate it. We want to encourage all of our brethren in the private sector to give back to this incredible community, and we look forward to continuing to work together closely for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let me be the first to congratulate you on this distinguished award. We really appreciate the tireless work that you're doing to make our community a better place to be. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce another of our colleagues here in Arlington County, the Assistant Director of the Arlington County Department of Human Services, who will be presenting 2 Distinguished County Service Awards. Good to see you, Kurt.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you very much. And congratulations to Avalon Bay and all of tonight's recipients for such truly amazingly impactful work. It's just awe-inspiring what everybody's done. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Lisa Fikes and the entire volunteer Arlington team. They've just become the connective tissue of all things volunteerism in the county. So on behalf of Arlington County government, thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Volunteer Arlington. So our next award, the Distinguished County Service Award, is given to an individual or group who, through volunteerism, has shown outstanding commitment and care to the residents of Arlington County. And this year's first Distinguished County Service Award goes to the Arlington Neighborhood Village Volunteer Group. So let's flash back a little bit. When the COVID pandemic first hit, it was clear that the virus was especially dangerous to older adults and that they needed to limit exposure to others to protect their health. With so many unknowns about the virus and how to keep one another safe, people retreated to the safety of their homes, many using delivery services to get food or medicine or other important supplies. Prior to vaccines, the simple act of leaving the house seemed fraught with danger. As one Arlington older adult put it, "My support network vanished in March. Some left for family elsewhere, others were overloaded with family. What little I had left of a normal life was now abruptly interrupted with negative news and a darkening future in my thoughts. A sense of abandonment hovered closely." We all felt this fear and stress in one way or another, but the uncertainty, isolation, and challenges of getting food and medicine safely was particularly difficult for older adults, especially those living on limited incomes and those without family nearby to help out. It quickly became apparent to Arlington Neighborhood Village that their usual volunteer services, things like transportation, running errands, and daily check-in calls, were really well suited to help with these new challenges. Older adults needed food, prescription, and household supplies delivered. Many had medical appointments that could not be skipped, and they needed a way to get there. Knowing the need was especially challenging to lower income older adults, ANV waived its membership fee in order to help at-risk and in-need residents who needed help. The ANV volunteers stepped forward, eager to help their neighbors through the crisis during the challenging early days of the pandemic, and continuing right up to this day, ANV volunteers have stepped up and supported older adults through the county to get food delivered, distribute masks, give members a ride to a medical appointment, or get their vaccine shot, and also be a friendly reminder that someone cares. I want to share some impressive numbers with everybody. So in 2020, ANV volunteers fulfilled 1,890 service requests, donated 7,180 hours of their time, and drove 20,510 miles at their own expense. Not to be outdone, in 2021, ANV fulfilled 2,680 service requests. Volunteers donated 8,610 hours and drove 30,000 miles. So the same person that I quoted earlier, who was on the brink of desperation, they contacted Arlington Neighborhood Village, and I want to share what they had to say afterwards. It says, though ANV is an organization, a group of people with a mission statement, it is the unspoken surety that they offer: a voice, an email, a call, a smiling volunteer, little things. Hope glistens in small acts, glistens in the presence of another human willing to help in small ways that keep me still here. So I don't think I can say anything more eloquent than that. So I'm just going to clam up and present this award. And accepting the award on behalf of the ANV volunteers are Bob and Mary Stump.
Thank you very much, Kurt, and thank you to Arlington Cares for this wonderful award given to ANV. Our mission is to give direct service and support to senior adults, especially those who want to age safely at home and remain connected with the community. And as Kurt pointed out in his introduction, this was critically important during the pandemic years, when ANV served over 300 very vulnerable Arlington seniors. So in general, let me just say a little bit about the kinds of services we provide on a regular routine basis, thanks to these 280 volunteers. We drive members not only to medical appointments, but to dental, physical therapy, and hair appointments, and even to church services from time to time. We pick up and deliver groceries and prescriptions and those very important deliveries from AFAC. We check members' homes for mail and packages when they're away. We can do simple in-home tasks like changing light bulbs or smoke detector batteries. Don't ask us to move big pieces of furniture, though. We become walking buddies. We connect over lunches, bocce, tai chi, conversation groups, happy hours, weekly Zoom conversations, and programs on such topics as wellness, finances, current events, history, fall prevention, all kinds of things. In essence, what ANV is about is that we're neighbors helping neighbors. And thank you again.
Most of the rides we give are pretty routine. You pick the member up, take them to the appointment, and go home. Occasionally, rides are memorable. January 15th, 2021, I picked up a member in Forest Glen, an 89-year-old woman with her portable oxygen supply on her shoulder, walking with a cane. On the way downtown, she tells me about buildings she helped to create as an executive in commercial real estate. As we crossed the Roosevelt Bridge on our way to GW Hospital, we had to detour around National Guard roadblocks. It was the week before Biden's inauguration. This elderly lady and I were able to talk our way through 2 National Guard checkpoints to get to the doctor's building. After escorting her up to the office, I decided just to stay put in my car. If I were to leave, I may not get back by myself. The appointment was finished, back into the car, rode home, and she had now had her treatment for macular degeneration. Another memorable ride involved getting groceries at AFAC. The member said to bring the food to the back of her apartment and she'd meet me there. When she looked at the groceries, she said, "Wow, I have not had fresh vegetables for 3 months." Volunteering has its occasional unique experiences and its meaningful rewards. If you're interested, just contact us, ANV arlnbieg.org, or 703-509-8057. On behalf of the nearly 300 A&V volunteers, we thank you for this award.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Bob, and congratulations again to the whole ANV team. We like to say that, Arlington, people can age in place, and it's Arlington for all ages, and the work that you do really makes that happen. So thanks again. And I have one more award to present, and I'm grateful that I get to do it because the organization our recipient represents has done truly heroic work throughout the pandemic and also through the opioid crisis that's affecting our community. As a longtime member and current chair of the board of National Capital Treatment and Recovery, which we used to know as Phoenix House, Robin Norman DePaoli has helped the agency continue and grow through a period when other nonprofit substance abuse treatment providers were forced to close their doors due to financial challenges. In recent years, as chair, Robin has led the agency through two particularly challenging periods: the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the organization's separation from the National Phoenix House Foundation. In early 2020, NCTR was faced with the challenge of operating 2 congregate care treatment facilities, as well as several outpatient facilities and a transitional housing program, all of this under pandemic conditions. While concerned about the health of staff and patients, NCTR leadership knew that suspending treatment for current and future patients suffering from substance use and mental health disorders could also be dangerous to their health. So, drawing from her expertise as a top administrator at Virginia Hospital Center, Robin rallied the NCTR leadership and staff to meet the challenges of continuing to provide services while keeping staff and patients safe. The agency quickly transitioned to telehealth in its outpatient services and implemented social distancing and effective preventive measures in its residential treatment programs. The agency also began offering vaccinations to staff and patients beginning in early 2021. As problems arose throughout the pandemic, Robin and other board members served as sounding boards and helped staff navigate through the challenges. As a result of measures implemented, the agency was able to keep its doors open and continue its services to patients throughout the pandemic without any widespread COVID-19 outbreaks. Robin also led the agency through the tumultuous effort of separating from the National Phoenix House Foundation and returning to its roots as an independent organization focused solely on the needs of the local region. NCTR, then named Phoenix House Mid-Atlantic, had been one of the several national affiliates of Phoenix House Foundation since 2010. However, in 2019, when the national organization began to face some financial and other difficulties, Phoenix House Mid-Atlantic's boards decided to disaffiliate and become an independent organization once again. This was extremely challenging because so much of the agency was enmeshed with the national agency, and multiple legal, contractual, financial, and clinical issues had to be addressed and managed. As chair, Robin led the agency through this change, and both she and other members of the board devoted significant time to guiding the agency and senior staff. At the end of 2 years of work, the agency, under its new name, National Capital Treatment and Recovery, was a financially strong, independent agency prepared to focus once again on the needs of those in Arlington County and the region. Robin has served with distinction for over a decade on the board's finance committee. Additionally, she serves on the board's governance and nominating committee, whose current efforts are focused on building a more diverse and multi-skilled board. Robin's board service has clearly made an impact on the strength of this much-needed organization. So please join me in welcoming Robin Norman DePaoli to receive this year's second Distinguished County Service Award. Robin?
Well, thank you, Kurt. I really appreciate all those kind words. Happy to be here today, and I'm also happy to be here because the weather's wreaking havoc with my connection. Luckily, I'm here, and hopefully everybody can hear me. I really am honored and humbled to be receiving this prestigious award. I've been blessed with time, with treasure, talents, and that are beneficial to nonprofits such as National Capital Treatment and Recovery. And it really brings me great joy to share my blessings through volunteering. National Capital Treatment and Recovery has been treating people in our community with substance use disorders for the past 60 years. During a recent celebration of the organization's 60th anniversary, we heard from two former clients. One has been in recovery for over 40 years, and the other is a bright, articulate young man who's just coming to terms with his substance use disorder and other mental health disorders that plague him. The older gentleman described a productive and happy life thanks to sobriety, and with the tools and treatment provided by National Capital Treatment and Recovery, we believe the younger man's life will have the same outcome. Knowing I had some small role in helping these people and many others, which in turn makes the community a better place, it's really all the reward I need. I want to thank Debbie Taylor, first of all, who is the CEO of National Capital Treatment and Recovery, and her and certainly her staff worked very hard during this period to make it happen. Also, I want to thank her for the nomination and for giving me the opportunity to serve the organization. I want to thank my fellow board members who also were very critical to this effort. Of course, I want to thank Arlington County and Volunteer Arlington for choosing me for this honor. And finally, I want to thank my friends, family, and particularly my husband, George, for supporting me in many ways that allow me to do this work. So thank you, everyone.
All right, congratulations again, Robin. I'm going to hand it over for the next award, which is the Lifetime of Service Award. And lucky me, because the presenter and the recipient are both two of my favorite people. So the presenter is going to be Betsy France, President and CEO of Path Forward. Over to you, Betsy.
Kurt, thanks so much. And like Robin, the weather is a little crazy around me, but nothing is going to stop me from sharing with you all about this amazing individual. I am so honored to present the Lifetime of Service Award this evening. This award recognizes and celebrates an individual for whom volunteerism and service to others is a part of the fabric of their being. Whether through their organized volunteer work or through their pattern of consistently thinking of and acting on the needs of others before their own, this person's life is an example of a life lived for their community. The recipient of this year's award is Meg Tasillo. Meg's impact on the Arlington community is broad. Her volunteer service and leadership spans across multiple social issues such as social justice, education, homelessness, youth substance abuse, the arts, religious causes, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Meg has been instrumental in the creation of several incredible programs and initiatives. The first is her work well over 20 years ago to create the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. At that time, Meg realized that there was a need for a broad community advocacy group for the county and schools. John Andelin, a community leader, shared that conceptually this idea was remarkable as it had an unusual advisory committee made of the schools, Arlington County DHS, community members, and parents. Collectively, they have done amazing work for the youth of Arlington. Secondly, one of Meg's greatest accomplishments was the development of the Second Chance program, which is an initiative of the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. The program was started in 2007 based on the results of the Youth Risk Behavior Study, which showed that Arlington youth were drinking alcohol at rates higher than the region, the state, and the national average. With Meg as the liaison from the school system, she provided her leadership in a group made of schools, school board, county board, and multiple community members. Because of Second Chance, students were able to avoid the justice system. They were given literally a second chance in lieu of suspension from school and criminal charges. And if students successfully completed all components of the program, they had a clean slate as they avoided suspension and had no record within the courts. Third, Meg also worked hard to help create the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families, now called the Arlington Foundation for Families and Youth. Its purpose was to marry the advocacy, ideas, and priorities of the partnership into funded initiatives. But to do this, they had to form a private foundation as they could not raise money for a government program. The foundation became a place where vetted ideas could come to fruition. If in fact they were the right program for our community, the foundation could support them. One of the first initiatives the foundation undertook was to create Arlington's first community school, Carlin Springs. This school is Arlington's only model community school, which is used as a base to support students and their families by addressing their academic needs, as well as their social, emotional, and health needs through collaboration with community partners. Last, and certainly not least, extremely near and dear to my heart, Meg is a longtime volunteer at Path Forward. She started serving bag meals on the street and volunteering with the overnight shelter when Path Forward first began, then known as A-SPAN. She's been a member off and on of our board since 1992 and has served as the chair of the board, chair of the development committee, co-chair of the Streets to Stability Capital Campaign, and she is currently the chair of our Emeritus Council as well as 30th Anniversary Committee. Meg has dedicated much of her time to connecting Path Forward and its programs to the community and successfully founded many longstanding relationships with many faith-based organizations, community service organizations, and community leaders. Meg, the list of ways that you share yourself is extremely long. There is so much to celebrate and applaud about you. Thank you for all you do. Please, everyone, join me in celebrating the 2022 Volunteer Arlington Lifetime of Service Award winner, Meg Tasillo.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this recognition. I'm humbled, absolutely. And thanks to all my friends and colleagues and co-volunteers in Arlington who are part of this event today. The folks connected with Path Forward, with the partnership, with Second Chance, all of the folks in Arlington connected in one way or another as staff, as volunteers, or those who are receiving support have helped shape my life and increased my appreciation for the many diverse ways that we all go through our lives. My church friends at Nova know that I often have a story to tell. And this short one is a favorite of mine, and it speaks to the value that each person brings to the world in their own way of volunteering. So I'm walking down the street in my daily walks, and I'm walking past the Central Library. And in the beginning of my walk, I had said hello to a fellow who's often there, and Bill, who is an older fellow and has lots of gray hair, white hair actually, and a scraggly beard and most of his belongings sitting on the bench next to him. And he and I chatted as he often likes to do. He has got strong opinions about many things in this world. And then I went on my way, and on my way back, I saw that he was engaged in a conversation with a mom and her young 4-year-old, maybe, little boy. And I'm seeing them as I'm coming down the street and thinking, oh gosh, I know he likes to go on and have strong opinions. I think I'll just cross the street and get a little closer and see if everything's okay. Well, he didn't need my help. That mom and the little boy did not need my help because the little boy thought he was Santa Claus. Long white hair, long white beard, and a bag of stuff sitting on the bench next to him. And our friend Bill is engaged in conversation with this little boy, giving kind words of support for this young man, saying, "Oh, I know you're a good little boy, and I know that you're kind to your friends, and I know that you listen to your mom." And the little boy is jumping up and down. He is so excited. He ran into Santa Claus in the middle of the library, front of the library, in the middle of July. Who would think? So it struck me so strongly that this is an example of the value that each of us bring to life and the many ways that people volunteer. Bill was volunteering himself to this little boy to bring joy to him. And that, my friends, is just one example of the value of connecting with folks, of sharing yourself with others here in Arlington. There are so many opportunities to volunteer, to share yourself, to give the opportunity for someone to share themselves. So let's keep doing it. Thank you.
Meg, thank you and congratulations. What a wonderful story to close us out tonight. The value of sharing yourself. I remember hearing you say that at our rehearsal, and I loved hearing the story about Bill sharing himself. Everybody can share themselves and give of themselves, give of the things that they care about, and give in such a way that makes a difference to those around them. Thank you, Meg. Congratulations to you, to all of our award winners tonight. And thank you to everybody for joining us tonight, for being a shining example of caring. These stories, such as the story that Meg just shared with us of Bill, serve as reminders. We need you. We need everybody. One person, one group, one business can truly make a difference. And it's happening. It's happening right here. Thank you so much for caring, Arlington. We have loved celebrating with each of you tonight. Let's keep this spirit alive. Let's remember what we've learned and how we were inspired tonight from all of the award winners, and continue to serve and find ways that we can put our passions into action through civic engagement. Stay connected with us at volunteerarlington.org and feel free to reach out with us through social media or at any time so that you can connect your passions with service. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, and thanks so much for caring, Arlington. Take good care. Bye-bye and be safe.